Welcome! In this video I will explain the stitch path for an orange peel quilting free motion style. The stitch path that I'm going to explain is different for two reasons. The stitch path of this orange peel quilting pattern depends on the size of your quilt and the type of machine you're using, so pay attention. If your quilt is freely movable, meaning you can move the quilt without problems underneath your machine, and it's not pulling on your shoulders and it's not falling on the floor, these are the steps you can take. I'll explain in a few minutes what happens if you have a quilt that is really heavy, or you're using a frame machine, so a long arm, for instance. So first of all, smaller quilt or freely movable quilts. I'm basing my orange peel on a square grid. In this example, I'm using a circle that exactly fits the square, and especially the circle and the corners of the square fit together. And that's a nice circle to work with. If you don't have an exact ruler to fit that square, pick the next size up. So I start in the left top corner and I create a swag motion from the left corner to the right corner of my first square. From that point on, I have the option to continue on to the right. If you want to, that's possible. There is more ways to do this, but I'm going to explain you this using a cut up pattern, meaning I'm going to cut the pattern up in pieces so you can easily stitch it without getting confused. So I did my first step. I went from the left to the right, and now I'm going down. So I am adding my serpentine lines downwards, and you can do them from left to right, or you can use the same shape going down. So if you're using a ruler, you would prefer probably not to change the position of the ruler every single time. You would just do a swag and another swag and another swag that are the same. Anyway, for the result, it doesn't matter, but you need to go down. So whatever you decide, the serpentine movement or the swags, do whatever, but at the bottom, you bounce back. Once you're back, you move another square to the right. So you add another swag to the right. And yeah, you probably have guessed it. Then you go down again. Once you're back up, another swag, another downwards, upwards motion, another swag, downwards, upwards motion, and one more swag until you get to the corner. In that corner, you go down one square. We have now finished the vertical elements of our orange peel. We're now going to the left, so we're now doing the horizontal elements. So again, I can do a swag or a serpentine row, and once you get to the left, again, you go back to the right. Okay, down one row and another horizontal line, swags or serpentine, and you go back. And then we finish the whole set all the way to the bottom, as far as you can go. We have one more element to add in the corner till we get to the real corner of our quilt, the real bottom right corner. And then we need to finish the set, meaning we are moving to the left bottom corner, and we're doing that with swags. And then we need to go up, and then we're done. Now, for those of you who are using a machine on a frame or those really, really big and heavy quilts that you don't want to move all the way up and down or right to left. So those are the quilts that you would do a row while the quilt is puddled on your table. Okay, let's look at that. In the drawing, you will see a red rectangle on top of my green grid. That red rectangle signifies the quilted space. I mean, the area that I have to quilt. When I'm using a frame, or maybe when my quilt is so heavy that I don't want to move it all over the place. So this is the area I'm going to fill, the red area. So my first step will be the same as with the other. So I'm going to move from the upper left corner 1 square to the right using a swag. Then I will go down 1 square and up 1 square. I'm not going further down because I don't have enough space to fill another square, because my red line indicates the space I have to move my rulers. So that's not the way to go. So I can go down 1 square. That's what I'm doing. So then I add another swag to the right, up and down, another swag, up and down, up and down. You know the drill. When you get to the corner, the far right corner, you go down 1 row and finish the horizontal row with swags. You could technically do a serpentine line there, so up and down, but I think this is most comfortable when using a ruler, that you finish the same swag row over and over again. Then once you have arrived at the far left, you still need to finish the row, so you need to go up. Then on the edge of the quilt, you need to travel down until the next corner, and then you can move your quilt on the frame. So you see that the red box is jumping. So now I can start my sequence again. So I start here again with my swags up and down, and I can finish my quilt without much problems. So there is a difference if you have a freely movable quilt or a quilt on a frame, or a quilt that's really, really heavy. So change your approach depending on the quilt and the machine. Let me know how you found this tutorial, and I would love to see some examples of your orange peels. So let me know. Bye.